can you believe? He'll bring his friends to college guys. Our weekend plans are such a dream. My friends think she's so dumb and stupid, but I won't tell anyone. Not a soul. That when we are alone, she's touching me. Well, I'm a sucker for it, give it to me. The way she's looking at me, she's so damn perfect. It's so damn worth it, the secret we keep. Yeah, I'm a sucker for it. So, this is what happened. Brianna's such a goddess, could get anyone she likes. But when she's looking at me like that, I know she's only mine. My friends think she's so dumb and stupid, but I won't tell anyone. Her hands are in my hair, whisper in my ear. I won't tell anyone, not a soul. But when we are alone, she's touching me. Well, I'm a sucker for it, give it to me. The way she's looking at me, she's so damn perfect. It's so damn worth it, the secret we keep. Yeah, I'm a sucker for it. Well, I'm a sucker for it. My friends think she's so dumb and stupid, but I won't tell anyone. Her hands are in my hair, whisper in my ear. I won't tell anyone, not a soul. But when we are alone, she's touching me. Well, I'm a sucker for it, give it to me. The way she's looking at me, she's so damn perfect. It's so damn worth it, the secret we keep. Yeah, I'm a sucker for it. Well, I'm
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Let's see if this mic is hot. Yeah, it looks like it is. Looks like it is. That's good. That's real good. Let me make sure though. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Good. What I like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's going to be a good show today. A lot to talk about. We've got a lot of stuff in the news. We've got the ATF as the new boss of the ATF has actually been doing actual good things. Anson, you are absolutely in the wrong place if you're finding the DAYSHIFT. I apologize. That's over somewhere else over there. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Let me check my notes. We got HEGSETH, a lot of charges of nepotism and his hiring practices, hiring friends and family, firing a bunch of useless people, to be honest with you. We've got a lot of stuff going on. There we go. There we go. And I changed my camera out. If you're wondering, there may be a little bit, because this camera is more of a, not really a webcam. It's more of a movie camera. And it's a... So it's a little different than the other one. The other one, I don't think there was a problem with the camera. I think the problem was with the interface between the computer and the camera was becoming an issue with the speed. So anyway, let's get back into it. What's up, Marilyn? How are you? We got a lot of people coming in now, so let's get into it. So we're gonna talk about HEGSETH. We're going to talk about the ATF knocking down 34 new policies, which are going to be awesome. It looks like they're going to be awesome. It looks like good things coming for firearms owners, gun rights getting a little bit of a boost, and kind of giving the ATF a haircut and putting them back in their place. HEGSETH has been cleaning house at the Pentagon, and we're going to get into that. And we got to talk about Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, or Anson's head will explode out there in the chat. We'll also talk about gerrymandering, which is, I thought we were done with gerrymandering last week and week before last. I really did. I really thought that, hey, this is it. This is the end of it. But no, we're not done with it. So we'll just deal with it. We'll get into it. All right. So, and we're also going to talk about why your paycheck is probably not feeling too good right now. Probably not feeling well. Yes, indeedly doodly. So, all right. So let's start with the ATF. We'll start with the A's and we'll move on. The ATF, obviously, last Tuesday, the DOJ and the ATF under new director, I can't talk today. New director, I hope I'm saying this guy's name properly, Robert Sakita, whatever. In his first day, he basically unleashed the biggest regulatory overhaul in the ATF's history. It's crazy, some of the stuff that this guy has done. Just to put it out there, there are 34 final and proposed rules. This is straight out of Trump's Executive Order 14206, which is protecting Second Amendment rights. That was the order given. That's what they're doing. And the goal is to stop treating The goal is to stop treating law-abiding Americans, gun owners, and dealers like criminals and focus on actual bad guys doing bad things. I agree we should abolish the ATF, but this is language that I can agree with, and we're going to put it in plain language so everybody understands. The 4473 gets a facelift, which it's needed for a while. It's going to be simpler. It's more electronic friendly. There are fewer gotchas on ID and residency questions, and the NICS checks validity is going to be longer in some cases. Now, what this effectively means is if you can buy more than one weapon on the same 4473. NFA items such as suppressors, SBRs, etc., have already become way less of a headache, and this is just getting better. Spouses can now do joint registrations without a separate trust or transfer tax, and this was a problem this has been a problem for a while because of the interpretation and implementation of a law that was never done very well and not very clear. And just to clarify, if I were to somehow pass away, without my trust being in effect, my weapons would not automatically transfer to my family as they should, because they would all have to go through the regulatory nonsense. I can't think of a better word for it, but just nonsense. SBRs and SBSs, no more mandatory re-engraving to show that this is a SBR explicitly. Now this is, or you putting trust numbers on or any of that kind of stuff. Now the SBR thing's kind of fluid right now, but we'll get into that. Cam, I agree with you. Abolish all the three-letter agencies. I agree with that. I've said that many times. Interstate travel notices are being relaxed, and you don't have to do a 5320 anymore for a short trip. That's a great thing for a lot of people. Now, the way it's worked in actuality in the past few years is that if you had, for example, a suppressor, nope, they didn't care. There wasn't really, you didn't really have to fill out a form to take it across state lines. But SBRs, 100%. If I were to go shoot a match in Kansas and I wanted to take my SBR, I couldn't do that without filing a form first. Now, this has been abused a little bit because I can file one form for the year and say, hey, I'm going to do all of these events, and I don't know what the dates are yet, but I'm going to do it. And the ATF has accepted that. But again, if you didn't know that, and you weren't in the know, or maybe they just didn't like you, that may not have worked. And there's no ruling on it. So anytime they decided to, they could have just changed their mind on it. Joseph says, I don't get it. If you can't instinctually tell if someone is being honest, where's the respect? Isn't that uncanny Valley 101? F it, actually, I don't care. Okay, well, I get you, man. I get you. All right, so pistol brace rule is gone. Brace pistols are no longer automatically short-barreled rifles as far as the federal government's concerned. Now, states like California are still trying to jack around with that. They can, but federally, don't worry about your braces anymore, guys. It doesn't make it automatically a felony for you to put that brace on there and use it as a brace. In the dealer category, the zero tolerance policy that's been in place for about the past 15 years, maybe longer, of zero tolerance for minor paperwork errors is dead. Enforcement shifts to serious violations and not nitpicking. Electronic record keeping is expanded and simplified. Less hoops to jump through. Everything's great, wonderful. This guy kind of gets it. Like, this guy's not being a dick. I mean, he's actually really kind of modernizing, if you will. The engaged in business thing. See, we've had this discussion last week. Engaged in business. What does that mean? That definition is tightened up. So casual private sales, like if I sell 5 guns a month or 10 guns a month out of my collection, I'm not engaged in the business of selling firearms. I'm engaged in the business of getting rid of a bunch of my crap, right? Because I'm also selling a bunch of stuff. And that means that that private sellers who just happen to sell a bunch of guns, or hobbyists who happen to buy crates of weapons and then they sell them off or whatever, they aren't suddenly felons for being a gun dealer without an unlicensed dealer. Yes, yeah, the ha 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 to people who complied. I did not comply. In general, I do not comply. And of course, the imports, exports, and bonded warehouse rules, which has been jacking over so many manufacturers and so many dealers in this country for so long, that's all been streamlined. We're all back kind of on the same page. I'm not going to say we're on the same page. We aren't. Still a pain in the ass. But 34 separate line item things, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I just hit the highlights. This is impressive progress for an agency that just a couple of years ago was telling the American people to just fucking comply and don't ask stupid questions, right? Like, just don't ask questions. And now look. So this is great news. This is great news. Bottom line for all of us firearm enthusiasts, owners, casual shooters, and people who may want to get in the business of buying, selling, and trading firearms and firearm accessories, the bottom line is you're going to spend less time filling out forms, less money on trust and lawyers and things like that, and less to worry about if you do get your FFL or getting jammed up, whether you have an FFL or not, by technicalities that really nobody cares about, and you weren't doing anything wrong. Suppressors are going to stay easier and cheaper to own and to transfer. One of the worst things I've ever done in my life was sell my Gemtech suppressor. It took forever because nobody wanted to buy a used suppressor, even though it wasn't that used, and then have to wait a year to get the damn thing. And that was a pain in the ass to sell. And I'm glad that we're finally getting somewhere on this. Okay. This is it, to just make it simpler. Travel with my NFA gear, my full auto, my SBR, my suppressors. Travel across country with those is now easier. It's simpler. And I'm not going to get jammed up by some stupid ATF guy. That's real progress, guys. It's real progress. Dealers are not going to be terrorized for a misplaced comma or writing, a 7 that kind of looks like a 5 or a 2 or whatever the fuck, and they're just not going to get terrorized for these things, which has been the case, by the way. It's been the case that if you were a dealer and you made a simple mistake on a form, you could be shut down for months while they figured that shit out. And this is a step in the right direction, right? And this is not just a step in the right direction. This is deregulation that makes sense. It works towards the ultimate goal of having no actual ATF at all. That's my goal anyway. And it's making the rules match what the Supreme Court and modern law is saying. So, that's right now, I think those are all good things. Now, critics over on the left, they're all going fucking. By the way, I got a good story about that in a second. They're screaming, this is a public safety nightmare. This is a nuisance. This is going to increase, people get, it's going to get you killed in the streets, right? The reality is ATF is finally just treating lawful citizens, responsible legal gun owners as partners, at least, not suspects. And crime fighting stays focused on fighting the liberals with the illegal guns and violent liberal criminals rather than jamming up a bunch of dudes who just want to go to the range and have a good time. Right. If you own a bunch of firearms, or you own a firearm shop, or you want to run a shop, or you just like going into a firearm shop and buying what you want with the least amount of hassle, this is a massive win. It's not the ultimate win. It is a massive win, but it's not the ultimate win, and we need the ultimate win, and that's it. By the way, the comments are open on the ATF websites on all of the proposed things that they have not yet ruled on. Get in there, go over there. It takes 3 minutes. You're on a computer or your phone, and you sit there, pull the ATF up, go to the proposed rule changes, read them, and then comment. Comment on that shit. Because it's important, not just for you, it's for everyone. Comment, hey, I support this. Hey, I don't support this. Hey, this sounds like a great idea, but it could go further. All of the things, make good comments, be awesome. Be awesome about it. Isn't a DEA capable of doing what the ATF? All right, so that's another thing. I almost forgot about that. Thank you for that. The DEA ATF merger is off, folks, for good. Finito, never going to happen. The DEA and ATF, gone. They only deal with firearms related to drugs, because Drug Enforcement Agency. But Grackle, that was absolutely something that was on the table. As far as I know, that's gone. It's out of there. They said, deep six that shit. We don't need it. Fuck that. We don't need two government agencies combining into one super agency to destroy our citizens. Now, this kind of policy is what we need. This is the kind of policy that we are voting for. This is why we needed Trump in office, and this is a win. This is a huge, huge, huge win. There is nothing else but win. It didn't go far enough, but it's still a win. All right. Now, guys, if you are enjoying the show, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, make comments in the comments. If you're watching this on the playback, I do read them, and I ordinarily answer comments. This is, and by the way, this show is supported by my wallet. If you would like to help my wallet here and there, please feel free to donate. Donate some freaking money. Links right there. For now, until I too get demonetized like so many others. All right, so let's talk about HEGSETH. Okay, HEGSETH. I didn't know what to think about this guy, National Guard guy, major, never been a general, all this kind of stuff. I was like, hey, maybe let's give this guy a chance. Let's let this guy get in there, see what happens. I'm down with it. I'm cool. Let's see what happens. And since day one, this man has been in the middle of controversy. Got the Signal app shit go on. He had some reporter that wasn't supposed to be on the mailing list, somehow got on the mailing list. It's just been, I just don't, I like HEGSETH, but at the same time, what's up? What's up? And, we're really trying to figure this out because, and there's why is my camera being weird? I gotta fix this. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's all right. Anyway, deal with this later. Should have noticed that before the show started. It's my bad. Anyway, HEGSETH, really cool dude. In my book, I think that he's been doing good things. Now, see, he's not playing small ball here. This guy's in the major leagues. He's playing like he's in the major league, and he honestly, Cam, I don't think he cares about his legacy. He only cares about doing the right thing in this moment. And he'll walk away from this and probably walk away from this and never want to be in politics again. But he is not playing small ball at all. Since he's taken office, he is fired or forced into retirement more then 24 senior officials, by the way, officers, by the way, admirals, generals, the Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George, Naval Secretary John Phelan, whatever. I don't have it written down from it. Anyway, and even the Army's Chief of Chaplains, he's blocking promotions, especially for officers tied to DEI pushes or seen as Biden-era holdovers, including women and black officers in some cases, because, and guys, this is important. This is important. HEGSETH really only cares about doing a good job. And I think that for most normal Americans, we're annoyed with the fact that that these generals become, once they get to be a general is not a promotion made out of merit. So up until you get to general, when you're a colonel, a major, captain, those are all merit-based. You had to have done something, met some criteria, and your fellow officers, you needed to have stood out. But not in the case of generals. Generals are appointed by Congress. They're promoted by congressional order. It's a political position, not a military position, although it is a military position, but it is literally swamp creatures. That's how we get swamp creatures. And the generals are in place no longer to lead from the front, but they're in place there to see how much they can get out of the swamp. A lot of them. And this has been the story for a very long time. Forcing these critters into retirement, forcing them to leave, shining the light of truth upon them is worthwhile. And honestly, nobody's been willing to do it before because they were part of that. They were all part of that system, but HEGSETH isn't. HEGSETH could give two fucks. He doesn't care. So he's getting rid of these guys, left and right. Again, since he took office, he's fired, forced into retirement, or furloughed more than 24. I think it's actually 28, but whatever. Senior officers, and that's impressive. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever done that. Now, so when we're talking about the Biden era, especially, I'm not really sure how many Obama promoted, because it kind of seemed like Obama just hated the military, but Biden, he put some of these critters in place, right? And some of them don't belong there. They are literally DEI hires, or DEI, they were pushed up by DEI. And you thought good old J. Edgar Hoover did more? Maybe. What's up, So Loud? Good to see you. Cam, I get it, man. I get it. I'm not saying they're all bad, but you can't, nobody can sit there with a straight face and say that the generals, especially the generals in Washington, are doing anything. Now, there's a lot of speculation and rumors around HEGSETH, right? Like insiders say he is consolidating control. He's installing leaders who align with Trump's vision of a leader of leaner, less woke, more war-fighting, focused military. That's Trump's vision. HEGSETH, apparently, if he doesn't share the vision, he's at least helping to push it forward. He's working on that vision. Now, obviously, the lefties are going to roll back to Project 2025. We all remember what that is. The ideological house cleaning, the frustration with resistance to Trump's agenda, blah, 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 blah. But HEGSETH, man, he's going at it. He some of these firings have happened just right in the middle of the Iran operation, which is now leading to claims of disruption and disarray at the Pentagon, which I don't think is the truth. HEGSETH is reportedly, I don't know this to be true. I read this, that he is reportedly emboldened and eyeing more generals to send out to pasture. Right? I agree with this. I really do. I've said this for a very long time. I've said this for since Trump's first administration. We've got a bunch of people who are more concerned with looking like they're doing a job than actually doing a job, and they don't have the country's best interests at heart. And we got to get rid of those people. They got to go. They just have to go. Obviously, there are critics, mostly on the left, and some institutionalists, people who just believe the swamp should stay the swamp. Call it politicization and chaos. I can't speak today. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. And realistically, I think it's interesting that, look, there's no public charges of misconduct or malfeasance or any of that kind of thing. It's just new leadership needed. And I think that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. So that's really good. Okay. And if you're a conservative, you lean conservative, or whatever, I'm conservative. This is exactly what the Constitution demands. For years, I have complained about the politicized, diversity-obsessed Pentagon with that prioritize pronouns and what you've got between your legs, over lethality, effectiveness, combat readiness. But HEGSETH, he's delivering the reset. Now, is he the guy to take it over the goal line? No, but he is triggering this. He's delivering this reset, and now other people can build on it. This is where loyalty to the mission over bureaucracy, over public opinion, loyalty to the mission is paramount. And here's the truth. My opinion. This is my truth. You are hearing the truth that I believe. This is what I believe, and therefore it is my truth. Obviously, rapidly purging a bunch of people carries risk, right? Like, this loss of brain, institutional knowledge. There can be morale issues because, people look up to those people, and that could, but doesn't seem to have affected morale. The media will obviously weaponize this with bad optics, all this other shit, which is not real. And on our side, we just need to continue to demand competence and results. And that's what HEGSETH is giving us for a change, not just loyalty oaths. If it strengthens readiness against real threats like Iran, if some people think China, I personally don't think that we really, we have just a ton of individuals to worry about, but bad actors still. If it helps that, if it strengthens the combat effectiveness and it improves our readiness, then great. If it creates an echo chamber, yes man nonsense, which is what we've had for so long, that's a real problem. If it just basically recreates what we already had, that's a problem. I'm watching for outcomes in the field, not headlines. And again, this is actually what draining the swamp actually looks like. We got to fire people. Like everybody wanted, everybody wanted drain the swamp, get rid of the swamp critters, blah, 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 blah. And this is what it looks like. And now everybody's like, oh, I can't believe he did that. No, he had to do that. It's already improved recruitment, which is a big part of readiness. That's awesome if that's the truth. I don't know that to be true, but that's it. And now, since Anson is here and spazzing out in the chat and just randomly saying shit that he knows isn't true, we'll talk briefly about Iran. Just a quick update, okay? As of today, based on my research earlier today, we've got this fragile ceasefire in place still. I know it's shocking. I know, you kept saying that it wasn't going to be there, that the ceasefire was going to go away, that we'd be back to guns Monday morning. And here it is Monday morning, still under ceasefire. Now, it is fragile. It's fragile. But it's been in place since early April. Straits effectively blocked. Iran says it won't go back to pre-war status quo, is trying desperately to impose tolls and controls, which aren't really working. And just yesterday, President Trump, it is not collapsing, Anson, and you know it. Does it sting? Does it sting a little bit? Does it hurt? It's got to hurt a little bit. Okay. Anyway, Iran is saying that it will not go back to pre-war, whatever fuck that means, status quo, and they're imposing the tolls and the controls, which nobody's actually paying, which few people are paying attention to. A few are, and that's their business. They can do whatever they want. Yesterday, Trump announced Project Freedom. You heard of that, Anson? Did you hear about that? Were you watching that? U.S. Navy destroyers, aircraft, and I want to say like 15,000 personnel will start guiding and escorting commercial ships that are stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. Who said that? Who? Remind me what I said last week. I said we control the strait, and if it comes down to it, we'll go in there and we'll guide them. I don't want to, obviously, because I don't believe we're the world police. But I called it 100%. So Anson, let's just put the score up. You have 0 points on the board, and I've scored like 3 or 4 because I'm fucking right. And you know it. It's okay. It's okay. I get it. You gotta keep that Marxism alive, man. Keep that Marxism alive. Anyway, all right. So, we're gonna be leading the commercial ships from non-belligerent nations, which mean basically nations that we like, that we're having a good relationship with. We're gonna lead them through the strait. Iran's called it a ceasefire violation to threaten attacks on U.S. forces, claimed missile strikes on a U.S. warship, which is false. Once again, Iran, they're liars, and liars do what liars do. They're lying. That's what they do. They're lying. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Now that Anson, by the way, that comes from Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera said that. So anyway, we got, but Anson, there is a point on Anson's team here. The oil prices are spiking. Global shipping is somewhat snarled in that region. Pakistan is leading these negotiations, and they're inching along, but both the U.S. and, but look, Trump and Iran are both kind of, button heads here because nobody wants to be the one that blinks. It's going to be Iran. Just going to tell you right now, it's going to be Iran. All right. So just straight up analysis, no feeling one way or the other. This is obviously economic warfare, meeting the military posturing. The strait is the prize. If we control it, and then we squeeze the world economy, right? That's just the way it is. The U.S. Taking action to reopen those trade lanes and show strength is, something we need to do. We need to do that. Iran is obviously playing for leverage and survival because this is going to be bad. The ceasefire is certainly paper thin. Certainly, it's very, very paper thin. So anyway, the energy prices are going to go up in certain nations. It may even go up here. So there we go. Isn't APEC splitting up? I think you mean OPEC. OPEC is splitting up, but not in the way that you might think. I think OPEC is going to. I think Saudi just wants a bigger piece of the pie, and they're constrained by OPEC. And as part of OPEC, they're required to give money to other countries like Iran, and they don't want to do that anymore. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Anson, you've been wrong literally every step. I don't know why you want to continue to be wrong, but it's okay. I still like you. You're a cool dude. You got a great beard. All right. At any rate, that's all I'm going to say about Iran today. We're in a ceasefire. Trump's getting shit done. Iran sitting there pounding sand, literally, trying to act tough when they are, in fact, not. Okay. We got to talk about the gerrymandering. That's still going on. It's still a big deal. Right now, the Supreme Court just dropped a major ruling striking down Louisiana's second majority, black congressional majority black. I cannot talk because Wally, you're on copium. You're mainlining that copium, and I have been right. I literally said this was going to happen last week. UAE was just attacked. Yeah, I believe that. Iran economy is plummeting. Several stores are closing because of supply issues. Everything's closing. They have no economy. All right. So again, the Supreme Court made a major decision striking down I believe this was last week, Louisiana's second majority black congressional district as an unconstitutional fucking phone. It's a unconstitutional gerrymander. This actually guts part of the Voting Rights Act's enforcement on race-based mapping of and green lights more progressive, or pardon me, more, is it progressive? Aggressive. We're going to call it aggressive. We're going to call it aggressive redistricting, partisan redistricting. And of course, with the mid-decade fights in Texas and everywhere else underway, it's high stakes. It's like high stakes poker out there right now. What are the implications? Well, these specific gerrymandered districts were not competitive. They were not. There was no. It wasn't a very. It was just always going to be what it was, and now that they've changed that, it broadens the voter base, and you can have swings, which we don't have right now. So it leads to more competitive districts. Parties in control of state legislature, for example, GOP is in power in more places right now than the Democrats, can draw safer maps for themselves ahead of 2026 midterms, obviously, and expect fewer swing seats, more entrenched majorities, but also in places where it was absolutely done racially, it evens it out a little more. So I think that's pretty good. Why? I know you're asking yourself why this concerns conservative voters. I mean, short term, it helps protect GOP seats in red states, but safe districts breed complacency, which then we get primaried out, and then candidates who answer to activists instead of voters, blah, blah, blah. We all know how the story ends. Long term, it just erodes trust in the system, which we need. We need trust in our system. The exact thing that powers the low turnout and cynicism on our side is this cynicism. It just does. And the idea of having more combative or evenly matched districts, I think, is meaningful. Also, as a conservative, I value fair play, and so we don't want the system rigged, right? And there we go. Alabama GOP does the same nonsense as Alabama Dems when they were in power. Ain't a dime's worth of difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Well, again, I'm coming from a monarchist. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt there. And this leads us to the economy. And I know all of you guys right now, or most of you guys, judging by the number of super chats that I've gotten in today, the economy is probably a little snug right now, a little tight. It's a little tight. It's tight. So let's look at it. Job growth is anemic right now. It shouldn't be, but it is. We're averaging low teens to low tens of thousands, right? So 18 to say 18, 19, tens of thousands to low tens of thousands. So some negative revisions out there. Unemployment, last I checked, was like 4.3%, depending on where you're at. $25,000 for a new HVAC. Wow. I don't know if my guy's licensed in Alabama, but I'll send you my guy. He'll do it for 10. If he's licensed in the state of Alabama, we'll make it happen. You could do an owner assist. That way he doesn't have to be licensed. All right. That's crazy. You had to pay. You already done it. That's terrible. Don't do that. All right. Unemployment's holding steady. It's been basically the same for a while now. Labor market is low hire, low fire, not moving. The needle's not moving in the job market one way or the other, really. But wage growth has slowed. Wage growth is like 3.5% or something. GDP is growing, right? I don't know if you guys pay attention to GDP, but it's still growing 2 to 2.5%. But that dang inflation, it's creeping up, and the inflation, man, is kind of eating up all of the gains that are being made. Trump wrecked the economy during COVID. No, I think that you're wrong on that one, man. I think he's the only thing. Honestly, if Biden was in office, we've had bread lines already. What are you talking about? Don't be stupid. You're smarter than that. I don't want bread lines, bro. I don't. Obviously, Hormuz has affected the oil and gas prices. However, it's not that terrible. What's up, Dennison? I see you out there. I think one of the things that's breeding real uncertainty is that we do have these layoffs in federal offices. We are shrinking the federal government, and for some reason that triggers people, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It ought not trigger people, but the fact that they're laying off federal employees, that triggers this weirdness. So obviously, what's hitting your wallet now? Groceries, fuel, some imported goods. We're not at 2022 level pain yet, Anson, during Mr. Biden's administration, but it is noticeable. You know, people need to budget wisely. You need to track every dollar, cut the subscriptions, blah, 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 blah. Eat at home. Start rebuilding that emergency fund. And I see the market is up, Dennis, and that's true. All the normal things, guys. All the normal things. I guess we really need to talk about Spirit Airlines, which is fucking hilarious. Have you heard this guy is sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec. I'm replying. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I can't control the timing when people email me. Apologize. It does piss me off as well when people whine over federal employees getting laid off, because even when they're, you know what, though, the thing is, when federal employees get laid off, even when they're laid off, they still get various checks from the government. It's not like they get laid off and they don't get anything, right? Because they work for the Fed. Let's see what we got here. I got to scroll up. Should have been saving last 2 years due to falling interest. Time to buy might be soon. That's true. Beef industry is somewhat stabilized. I believe it has. I can ask Admiral Gibbs that in a minute. Beef was going up, up, up. I think it stabilized. It might start drifting down. It has actually drifted down a little bit, but I don't know by how much. So I'm not going to comment too much on that. The Spirit Airlines made it clear that the increase in jet fuel caused their demise. Yeah, no, that's not what they made it clear. Another business story by Trump's retarded war. Hey, Anson, you're wrong. You know you're wrong. They were going out. They were going out of business a year and a half ago before there was a war. You care more about the market than the economy. You're not wrong in that. So, yeah. Spirit Airlines ceased all operations immediately 3 days ago. They're gone. They were struggling along there. Last week, I was listening to a financial review, and they were talking about Spirit Airlines and the efforts to save them, and you know how it was being blocked by, of all people, Elizabeth Warren. I have no idea what Elizabeth Warren really had against Spirit Airlines, but apparently, you know, she did not want it to be bought out. That's true, Dennison. That is true. It is the first major U.S. airline to go out of business due to financial problems in over 25 years. all the flights were canceled. Customer service was shut down. The planes are grounded. 17,000 jobs evaporated overnight, which is interesting. We're going to get into something else with airlines here in a minute as well. The problem is Spirit has been bleeding money for years. Anson was talking about the fuel cost, but that's absolutely not the problem. Ever since 2019, it's not had a profit. Before that, it was bleeding money. Nothing could save it. There was an offer to buy it, I think, back in like 2018 or 19, and it just didn't go through. In 2024 and 2025, they filed for bankruptcy. I'm ignoring. Well, who hit me on Discord? Let's see. There you go. Everybody keeps distracting me, except Anson. Anson's not distracting. I already know what Anson's going to say. Apparently, it's May the 4th be with you, by the way. I wanted to remind everybody, May the 4th be with you as we talk about poor Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines would have gotten a bailout if it was owned by it. No, that's wrong. Why? Why would Elizabeth Warren give them a bailout if APAC owned it? That's it. Anson, your mustaches is showing. All right. Anyway, so again, man, I apologize, guys. I'm getting blown up over here. It is important. That's the only thing I can tell you. So, all right. My apologies again, guys. Sorry. All right. So anyway, they filed Chapter 11 twice, 2024 and 2025, trying to restructure as a smaller operation. They were not allowed to do that, by the way. The final blow came that when they had someone who wanted to buy them out, Elizabeth Warren has said no. I don't know how or why she was able to block that, but apparently she is the problem there. Businesses should be allowed to fail as part of doing business. I agree with that. We're going to get into that here in a second. Now I understand. I remember now. Now that you said that. All right. So Spirit was asking for a $500 million government bailout, a one-time deal, but it wasn't a free bailout like the government usually does. It was in exchange for equity in Spirit that the government would own. So basically, they're asking for a loan secured by equity. And Warren blocked it. So also, they were going to merge with JetBlue. That would have been a good merger as well back. I actually don't remember when it was, but they were going to merge with JetBlue. That was blocked. That was under Biden's DOJ, and that was a bad move. They should not have blocked that. They knew back then they weren't going to survive without that merger, and they argued that in court, as I recall. I don't remember, though. I could be wrong. I believe they did. Like a lot of things right now, the creditors are just not cutting people slack. Yes, I remember. I remember that, Anson, that we owned that whether I wanted to or not, I owned stock in GM. So, So anyway, and this is interesting because Delta yesterday and maybe some of today had serious problems with staffing. Their planes were they had multiple planes grounded in multiple locations because of staffing and other issues. This is not, and the biggest portion of it is apparently Delta has not been hiring enough pilots. And the pilots they do have been hitting their 1,000-hour-a-month limit. And they can't, once they hit that 1,000-hour limit, they cannot fly. And it's, it's crazy what's going on in all of the airlines right now. I think Spirit just couldn't get any more credit because they had used a bunch and they didn't really change. The problem is that like a lot of companies, they don't want to actually change their business practices to make more money, to make it make more sense to somebody who's going to come in and give them money, right? So yeah. Spirit Airlines closure will be the canary in the coal mine of our economic upcoming depression, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't think so. There are many more important companies that are going to fail pretty soon. So, yeah. Spirit now has plenty of former employees that Delta could hire but it actually takes a long time to do that. It's just the way the industry works, and I don't know what the problem is. So and this is interesting. You guys probably don't know or care. If I'm flying for Delta and I'm flying, I'm flying 747s, okay, and I get hired at Southwest, and they're flying 747s. Even if I'm going to fly the same plane for somebody else, I have to go back and complete their training course, which includes sim time, so many takeoffs and landings. They have to pass the sim, and then they have to fly for a certain amount of time in the right seat, usually. Or they have to do a check ride with somebody. So this costs the airline somewhere between the minimum is probably about 15 or 20 grand, and the maximum's probably off the charts. But it could cost them. It costs an airline $50,000, $60,000 to hire a pilot from another airline, even if they're flying the same equipment, the same exact airplane. It's crazy. It's just nuts. But that's how it works. That's how you play ball in a big city. And that is the end of my monologue. 1 hour, almost exactly. That was awesome. But anyway, if anyone wants to come up and jabber for a few minutes about anything except Iran. Anson, I'm not talking Iran today. I don't have any interest in it. You lost. You said that we wouldn't last the weekend. We did. You also said that we weren't able to control the strait. We do, obviously, and we're going to start guiding other ships through, since they, for some reason, fear whatever. But anyway, yeah. So, but I'm happy to talk about airlines. I'm happy to talk about anybody's losing a debate this weekend. I saw a bunch of people. I've seen a lot of footage lately of people literally like making the dumbest arguments I've ever thought I'd see. It's crazy. Bear Stearns was part of the financial infrastructure. I know a guy who worked for Bear Stearns, and he was there. Anson, I just don't want to give you any more L's, man. At some point, you're going to get pissed off at taking all these L's and run away. And I don't, I consider you a good friend, and I don't want to cause you to leave the show. I like you. You're cool. Yeah. At any rate, the Delta, the airline issues in this country are quite interesting. Can't wait to see how it works out. Hello, Marilyn. How are you? I saw a bunch of people come in I didn't say hello to. If I did not say hello to you, I apologize. I did see that OG was on for a few minutes this morning, and then he dropped off. And then I've seen, yeah. Yep. Ah, cool. Well, listening is good. I took my son out fishing yesterday, my youngest son, and oh, what's going on here, man? And oh, I see what happened. Okay. He had tummy troubles. Ugh, that's rough. What's up, Tootie Bug? How are you? So my youngest son, 5 years old, you know, he's just hilarious all the time. Take him out on the boat yesterday to go fishing. Now, keep in mind, you know, he's 5, so he's tiny. He's a little guy. I mean, he's taller than other kids, but he's still a little kid. And we get him out on the boat, and you know, it's early in the season, so the water level here is way down, like way down. Like I don't think I've ever seen the lake this low. So obviously, you know, didn't really know where to go, put him on some fish or anything. But I just ran around the lake a little bit. He's got his little, you know, kid fishing rod, and he's throwing it out there. He's having a great time. And he's like, Dad, why does yours go so much further than mine? And I'm like, well, I'm big and you're small. And my, you know, I have a bigger fishing rod and I've been doing this longer. And he's like, okay. So he was trying hard all day yesterday to cast as far as he possibly could, which was hilarious. But, you know, obviously he's 5. He doesn't have the patience to actually fish. He throws it out there, he reels it, he lets it sit for a minute, he reels it again, and you know, he just doesn't have the patience, which is fine. You know, he's just having good time trying to catch some fish. And again, the water is so low, I didn't know where any of the fish were at. They're probably, you know, offshore somewhere. I didn't have time to go looking for them. I didn't want to fire up all the sonars and everything. So we're just having some fun. We're just hanging out. And I caught this one little fish, and Alex was like, are we going to keep it? Are we going to keep it? I'm like, no, he's too small. You got to throw him back. And he's like, oh, man, I want to keep him. I'm like, no, you can't keep him. He's not a pet. It's not a pet. But anyway, I had a lot of fun yesterday with the little guy out on the boat. Super fun. Always great when they're that age, and you can show them how to be good human beings. And so he had a great day, and you know, it was awesome. It was awesome. Great time. Very good. And Anson will continue to claim that we're in for a depression because of the you know, the Iranian conflict that we're in right now. So yeah. But I mean, some of the data is actually pretty good. It's pretty useful, but I don't think it means what he thinks it means. I've also been watching other people's. I had an opportunity to watch some shows this weekend, and people have been sending me. And by the way, if you do so, thank you very much. Have been sending me a ton of stuff. Apparently, without me knowing it, Admiral Gibbs and I are having some sort of relationship. Was referenced on Fatty's panel the other night. Thought that was funny. Yeah. See, the problem with Anson making these claims is there's never been a politician that Anson thinks had any damn sense at all. So it's like you can't, you can't, there's no basis there, right? No making him happy. Yeah, it was funny. I caught a stray sometimes. Somehow I caught a stray. I wasn't even there, but I was mentioned. It's okay. It's fine. Not a big deal. So, yeah, I think Calvin Coolidge was a good president. Maybe. I don't think so. Suboptimal, I think. But at any rate, so much going on out there in the Painoverse. Just can't keep up. I don't even try anymore. I don't care. Anybody want to come up and chat? Doesn't have to be about anything I covered today. You're welcome to come up and chat about anything. Otherwise, I'm going to give it a few more minutes and I'm going to get the heck out of here. I do have to go this afternoon to take my my son his firearm so that he can practice clay shooting at his school. Gotta go do some clay shooting. So you should try that, Anson. You should totally try that. I mean, Anson can always come up because he does have the keys. I just, I don't have to put him on stage. I think, although he might be able to put himself on stage. I don't know. I haven't tried. I got no idea. You're driving up to Oklahoma this weekend to fish the Neo show. Trying to catch us. Oh, wow. 76-pound catfish would be a big catfish. Shots fired, Anson. Shots fired. Nobody wants to come up and jabber, chit chat, have fun, talk shit. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm gonna go take a nap. I can't believe the ATF got you do. Yeah. Hit me on Discord real quick. I got to open Discord. I moved my monitor. Normally, my monitor used to be just like where I could just go like this, but now it's like way the fuck over there. I gotta kind of go off to the sun. I was going to do a debate tonight about HEGSETH and the nepotism that he's doing, but it's garbage. Damn, old son. I'm not a big catfish guy. Oh, Denison's got it. There he is. I see him. Link is sent. We are a net importer of oil, but we've covered this many times. We don't have to be. And there's Denison. What's up, man? Oh, you got to check your mic. It doesn't always auto-populate the mic. So down there, you'll see a mute button. You click the little blue tab beside it and then select your mic. Also, you need to be on Windows, Chrome for some reason. It doesn't like Windows. Cam, I do a lot of bass fishing. I don't really care that much for crappie fishing. It's okay, but I'm not that big into it. I like spoonbill, but the only way I've ever caught them is when they get snagged in my trot lines, which I don't. Tennessee's changed the law on trot lines. I don't know that I can run trot lines anymore. Yeah, paddlefish are good eating for sure. It's really good. Yeah, Denison, you need to use a Chrome-based browser. If you need to, just go out and come back in.
Okay, now I can hear.
Oh, gotcha. There you are. Whatever you did, we could hear you.
Okay, how am I coming through?
Now I can hear you. You're just low. I can turn you up, though.
Break that on my end, too.
Denison?
Headset.
Yeah, your volume's really low, but I can hear you.
That's weird. I'm cranked.
Still hear you. It's just really, really low.
That's weird.
What's weird?
It's maxed out at 100.
Make sure you're selecting the right mic, because a lot of times what happens is that it'll default to like a computer or some weird mic. So down where it says mute, there's a little triangle thing beside it. Click that and make sure your mic is selected right.
Yeah, it's stick to my, like, what I call my loop back, which is my voice mixed with anything I want to present.
Go out and come back in and see if it clears up.
Alright.
Well, we'll see if this comes up. Yeah, Eufaula is really clear. You know, we don't have very many clear water lakes here because we're on dams for the most part. And but I've never seen the lake as low as it is right now. Like I've seen parts of the lake. I've seen like people were walking where I normally boat, where I'm catching fish. It's crazy. All right, Denison's back. What's up, man?
Microphone check, microphone checker.
It's still low. I don't know why it's low. I can't hear you, but it's really low. Maybe my volume's low. Hang on.
Oh,
Try that.
that's feedback. Now I can.
No, my volume's fine, but yeah. Guys, can you guys hear Denison out there in the chat?
Yeah, let me listen to the stream and see how it sounds.
What's up, Never Lucky Rubber Ducky?
Oh yeah, that's low.
Yeah, you're really low. Are you sure you got the right mic picked?
Yeah. It would ironically it would be louder if it were going over my laptop mic.
Maybe it just doesn't like your setup. Yeah, everybody says you're really low. I've got his volume turned up in the back as high as I can.
How about now?
I can hear you, but it's just really, really low.
I'm gonna restart OBS.
Your system mic volume setting may be low. I don't know what system he's using, so I can't help him with that. I haven't seen Cat in a long time, Manson. Oh, wait, that's is he far from the microphone? There it is. I haven't seen Cat Katibi in a long time, Manson. Where she is.
How about now?
Hey, Thumping Weevil, how are you? We'll see. We'll see if Dennison can get his mic sorted out. Usually, it's just the, where you select the microphone is usually off.
Say something.
Huh?
Am I coming through it all now?
I mean, I can hear you, but it's like ridiculously low.
It's even worse.
No, it's about the same. All right, let me try something else, Dennison. Hang on, give me a sec. There's always a way. All right, Dennison, I'm going to see if I can't just do a call on Discord. Maybe your mic will work better on Discord, and then I'll just port it over here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's already left and come back in, Mikey. But let me let's just try and do it on Discord. This may be the one time that Discord works for this. All right, let's see. How do I do that? So first, let's see. Start a voice call. There we go. How about that? And then Dennison will answer shortly. All right, now Dennison's answered, and let's do the. Where are we at? You there, Dennison?
I think so.
Dennison. Hello.
Hello.
It's still really low. What's up with your mic today, man?
I don't know.
And I don't have anything to do with it, but you may have made some changes that mess with it on this. Let me. I'm going to do this. So, I'll put you there in the back right there for right now, and then let me see if I can. I want to. I'll make this like. Can't make this full. Something I can make it like full screen. Yeah, now I can hear you fine. What'd you do? Okay, let's
Never
try
seen
it
that
over
before.
here. Oh, yeah. All right. So leave. I'm going to hang up because it's perfect now over on the stream. Dennison, my man.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yes. It's perfect now. All right. How are you, Dennison?
I'm pretty good. I just got a new mic, so.
Oh, well, it sounds good. That works, man. That is awesome. Good deal.
Now that it's louder, it should sound better than the other one, hopefully.
It sounds great.
So when is going to be our opportunity to buy? Grid, that's what I want to know. I'm trying to save up money. I want to buy in cash. I don't even want a mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking
Um,
real estate?
Yeah, land and a house
Where are you at? Where are you looking at?
everywhere, the entire globe.
The entire globe? Bro, there's some serious deals in Japan. Like amazing.
Now, how much would it cost for me to purchase citizenship there, though?
See, I don't know how that works. So that part I'm never really looked into that much, but I know it is possible, especially now. But you can buy a house. You can buy a pretty nice house in the $75,000 to $80,000 range.
I could live off something less than that. I was thinking like one of those collapsible container homes.
Oh, I haven't even seen those. But yeah, this is.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been paying a lot of attention to Japan because there for a while you couldn't buy any real estate in Japan. It was just impossible, right? Like there was just none available. But with the aging out and the lack of replacement birth, they've got there are tons of homes that are just empty.
yeah, they're loosening immigration, I'd imagine.
They are loosening immigration to some degree, but I mean,
I have
obviously,
had my eyes on Italy too, like
Yeah.
economic cost is saying.
That's
Because
Anson
technically,
knows.
Anson, because technically, I have birthright citizenship in Italy,
Oh
so I
wow,
could be a dual citizen,
there you go.
and that would get me automatic EU citizenship too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty valuable.
If I were going to buy land somewhere right now or property somewhere right now, up until a few years ago, I would have said probably like somewhere in South America that was kind of reforming. But they've all gone shitty again. Like even Argentina's crazy nuts right now. You can buy large tracts of land, but the problem is that you're likely to be like killed at some point. So that makes it a risk. I like Australia. I think you can still buy fairly decent amounts of land in Australia. Just depends on what you want to do. If you want to live out away from everyone, then you can do that. I mean, you can do that here. You can go buy a big chunk of land in Mexico or New Mexico for almost nothing.
I've been looking at that. I've been looking at the Rockies in general, because it's a kind of a hack code for the Southwest, where normally it'd be too hot to grow all year. The elevation gives you a dramatically different climate.
Mm-hmm. There's I'm not sure which part, but there is in the Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, and maybe even northern Colorado areas, there's still some plots of land available for homesteading, like actual like go out, drive a stake in the ground, build a house, and it's your land.
Kansas is hard to beat. I'm not sure how I feel about their laws, though. It's kind of a little state heavy for my taste.
Yeah, I think so. Wyoming would be my if I wasn't in the South, Wyoming would be my choice probably. Wyoming or northern New Mexico, northern Arizona, somewhere like that.
What I see in Wyoming is I can get like a flat, ugly, nothing on it piece of land for next to nothing, like 1,500 an acre, and then I can just
1,500 acres
make
way
it
too much. That's way too much.
at the most, like
Yeah.
Like, in other words, $3,000 for 2 acres.
Yeah.
And I could turn it into something.
Yeah. I like the South too. I like, there's still places in Tennessee where you can find nice deals. There's still Arkansas is like crazy good for real estate right now. I mean, now there's nothing there, right? So the problem is that, like, I would tell you that the best place to buy in the United States right now is South Carolina. You're going to get the most bang for buck. You're still close to most things, but you're not close to anything that's going to annoy the fuck out of you. And they're not going to be building shopping malls on every corner anytime soon. The weather's good. You're close to the ocean. You're close to the mountains to some degree. Yes, it's not a bad place. But most people wouldn't want to live there because there's, you're not going to have a job, right? You're just not. I think their biggest industry is probably still lumber, right? That's, you're not going to really, it's not really going to be the place where you go work in a big factory or a big corporate office or something. I actually read an entire article about why South Carolina had stayed, kind of dirt cheap while everywhere around it is really expensive. So, yeah, it's just going to be pretty interesting. I like South Carolina. I like North Georgia. I think North Georgia has a lot of potential too, but it gets really hilly. So it just depends what you want to do.
All I need is fast, low latency internet, and then, like, I don't need this, but what I want is, like a useful kitchen and a large bathroom. Those are like the creature comforts that, even if I go and live in a tiny home out in the middle of nowhere, 20 miles from town, I still want them,
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Clovertech says the roads in South Carolina are the worst he's ever driven on. That's probably true.
See, that's where you're making the mistake, though, Clover. You got to stop leaving the house.
Yes. Yeah. So what do you think of the monologue today?
I missed it, I think.
You missed it? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, because when I threw the peace sign in the chat was me waking up and getting in here.
Basically I talked about the ATF is finally like acting in the interest of Americans in some aspects. Yeah. That 34 they've passed 34 things that or they made decisions on 34 things that directly affect Americans, and they're making American lives easier. It's not enough, but it is progress in the right direction. There's still more things on the agenda that you can go vote on. So, and that works out pretty good for us. I talked about HEGSETH, how he's firing the generals and especially some of the DEI hired generals and some of the people who were promoted just because. And I think that HEGSETH's doing the right thing, and I support what he's doing. And talked about, I talked about a lot of stuff about how Spirit, crashed out and they're gone for now. They're gonna be back. There's apparently a crowdfunding effort on the internet to bring them back, to save them. And
that's uniquely American.
Sorry?
That's uniquely American.
It is uniquely American. Yeah.
So what? What are your top 3 positive things the ATF is doing?
Top 3. Well, I think making it or clearly defining that pistol braces do not turn your pistol into an SBR and you're not going to be arrested for being a felon just randomly, that's pretty important. And I think
After the overall length, that where the confusion came in before.
no, they're just saying that a brace is a brace. It's a pistol, so who cares? It doesn't matter. Shoulder, whatever, it doesn't matter. Basically. Now they've made a very clear definition that this is federally. States can still say, hey, we consider it a short barrel rifle, but you won't get hassled federally for it. So the 4473, which is a form you fill out to purchase a handgun, that's getting redone so that it is simpler. It's more electronic friendly. There are fewer gotchas on the ID and residency questions, and I think the NICS check is going to last longer or have longer validity in some cases. I'm not really sure what they are, but I believe that's what they said. The NFA items are being treated a lot differently. One of the things they're doing differently is you can now do a joint registration with your spouse without having to set up a trust or pay the transfer tax. And basically what that means is that if something were to happen to me, right now it's all good because I have a trust, but in theory, they're saying that my wife could be on the same the red 44 or the same Form 4 that I have my NFA item on. So that kind of helps. And it just helps out, right? Less legal fees. And so they're changing the engraving policy for SBRs and some other NFA items, which means less mandatory re-engraving. If I turn my pistol into an SBR, technically I'm supposed to literally engrave SBR on it. I think they've relaxed the interstate travel rules for NFA items. A lot of this is just based around NFA items and suppressors and pistol braces and things like that. Although there's some language in there for the zero tolerance policy for minor paperwork errors for gun shops and transfers. They've basically killed all of that. And basically that it seems like the culture is going to be, they're going to be looking, they're going to be looking more for the gross offenders rather than just nitpicking every little, like every time everybody's 5 looks like a 3. So that just a bunch of stuff like that. And there's still more. There's a whole list of things that you can vote on the NFA website or on the ATF website. Oh, and the ATF and DEA being combined is at this point donezo. Like it's not going to happen, which was a bad idea in the first place. The DEA being able to enforce gun laws was a ridiculous kind of thing. Yeah, you can comment, you can't vote. He's right. Clover Tech, they've changed some of the mandatory stuff on the re-engraving of firearms when you take it SBR or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. I didn't read that far down the list. I was super happy. So, does that help you, Dennison?
Yeah, it gives me a little bit of an idea. Most of it's like bureaucratic and like it seems like a shift toward being as difficult as possible trying to.
Yeah, it's a shift from being a big pain in the ass to being a smaller pain in the ass. Is the overall takeaway.
And with HEGSETH, my concern would be, and I would say if past its prologue, that the next Democratic administration comes in and like undoes all of that.
Well, HEGSETH's firing people, so they're in theory, the next administration could just rehire everybody, but that seems to be hard to do, right? And the next administration could come in and try and change some stuff, but with this appointment, in general, the head of the ATF stays in position even between administrations. So, which is part of the problem, to be honest. But I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I mean, these are largely interpretations, but I think that there's got to be a way to make them more permanent interpretations. Although obviously the ultimate goal is just get rid of the ATF altogether. We just don't need them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, term limits on these bureaucracies would be one thing, but really, they shouldn't exist. More than half of them were created by the Patriot Act, and the other half were created by the National Security Act.
Right. Yeah, and that's it's like I don't understand why we have the TSA anymore.
Right.
And I've heard a lot of more of those type of I've heard a lot more people with the same kind of query, and it's going to be interesting that why do we have the TSA? Because the TSA has done nothing but make air travel harder and more expensive. And it has not, and something like 80%, when the 80% of the firearms that people try to get through, they get through. Like 80%, the TSA has missed weapons going through the TSA like 80, I think it's 88% of the time during testing, like when people are, like other agents are trying to get them through. So that's crazy, man. It's crazy. And so if you're that ineffective, why do we even have the organization?
I mean, before 9/11, I used to travel with drugs on me.
So I was actually traveling on 9/11. And I traveled, so I flew out a couple of months. I flew from Tennessee to California a couple of months before, several months before, to work with a race team. And I was out there for several months. And I had a whole bag of tools. I had like saws and files and all kinds of things to work with metal, right? Snippers and all kinds of things. And I didn't have any choice but to carry it on the plane. And the guard was, the TSA agent was like, yeah, I guess you've got to, but I'm like, okay, thanks. Appreciate that. No, I don't believe the TSA has ever caught a single terrorist. But like I had an experience with a TSA where I had been out shooting and I had a suppressor with me. And at some point I had taken it off the gun and put it, there's like a backpack that I carry occasionally. And it's like, there's a pocket in it that's like perfect for a suppressor. And I just put it in there and I kept shooting and went the rest of the weekend, didn't think anything about it. And packed all my guns up, put all my guns in the checked bag, and away they go. I get to TSA and the guy pulls my bag, which happens not often, but kind of enough. Pulls my backpack out of line and says, come check it out. And sure enough, I have this. He pulls out the suppressor and he's like, "What is this?" And I should have said it's a really expensive muffler for a go-kart. That's what I should have said. But what I said was, "Oh man, that's a suppressor." And I normally keep that in the box. I just checked all my guns. And he's like, "Well, this is considered a firearm. You can't go through with it." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's a firearm." I said, "Okay, all right."
Yeah, I can use it to shoot stealth spitball.
Yes. So he's like, "Yeah, okay." I'm like, "All right, whatever. What do I do?" Because I can't mail it back to myself. Okay, because I can like rifles, and I can mail rifles back to myself. There's a way for me to do pistols back to myself, but I'm like, what do we do? Because I'm getting nervous. I'm going to miss my plane. My guns are already checked. I don't know where they are. And he's like, "Well, I'm going to have to confiscate this and write you this ticket." And now by this time I've got like a supervisor there and some other people, and it's getting pretty serious. And they take me to a back room, and I'm like, or a private room, wasn't, it was just a private room. And they're writing out this ticket. They got my ID. They're doing all the things, asking me kind of trying to be, they're kind of trying to act like police, but they don't know how to act like police. Right. And, so I'm still trying to figure out, what the reality of this is going to be, because I know that attempting to board a plane with a firearm is a felony, like a federal pound you in the ass felony. But I didn't attempt to board the plane. I was just going through security, and I didn't know I had it. So I finally get a supervisor there, and he basically says, "You have a choice. Either obviously you can miss your flight, take your suppressor, go wherever. Whatever. Well, I can't. My guns are already on the plane. Probably I can't leave. Right. So he says the second choice is they would write me a ticket, and it's basically a ticket, and that and fill a report out and send that in to whoever the fuck, and I would get it. I would know what I would get an update in a few weeks. And so, okay, that's fine. Where are you going to take it? Well, they had to call the police down because I wouldn't let them hold the suppressor, because by law it can't be out of my sight unless it's in the hands of a law enforcement agent. Even then, that's iffy, and it really has to be the ATF. The ATF, and they would not call the ATF. And I'm like, "Look, you don't seem to understand the law here. The only people that can even ask me if I have paperwork for this is the ATF. You, as a local law enforcement officer, do not have the authority to ask me anything about this. This is a National Firearms Act thing. You can't even check the serial number on it. I mean, what are you going to do? There's no database for you to look at. You'll call the ATF, which is what I'm telling you to do right now. Is just call the ATF." And I ended up, they had to get a guy to come down to get it, right, and put it in a case with my name on it and all wrapped up and everything. And I thought I'd never see it again, which at the time was kind of a pain in the ass because it took so long to get. They let me board the plane. About 2 weeks later, I get and they're treating it as if I just took a firearm, tried to take a firearm on the plane. They don't care what it is. It's just a firearm to them. Couple weeks later, maybe 10 days, I get a letter from the feds saying that, TSA, saying that I attempted to board a plane with, or I attempted to make it through security with a firearm, and in quotation said accessory, and that I need, that I had two choices. I could contest it, go to court. I'd have to go back there, Oklahoma. I'd have to go back there to, go to court, and it would cost me a bunch of money to do it. I could, and I was risking like a $25,000 fine and like a felony prison sentence and all that stuff. Or I could basically plead guilty to something else, and I would still have to fly back to Oklahoma and get my suppressor and put it in a case and bring it back with me the proper way. But I could pay like $850, the cost of the ticket, and that was it. So I wrote him a check for $850, and I flew back to Oklahoma, and I got my suppressor, and I just went on about my life. So, and this is why the TSA shouldn't exist, because honestly, what they could have done is just said, okay, we'll get your fire. We look at it. It's not a firearm. Just, we'll give it to the pilot or something, and or whatever. I don't know. There was a way to not make it inconvenience me too much, but they didn't care. And I've had people throw away knives. I had this stupid ass TSA agent. I had forget, I think it was an HK tactical pin. It's kind of a steel pin. It's got some cool hand things with it. It like screws together, and it's pointy on both ends. And this stupid TSA chick pulled it out of my backpack and said, "This is a weapon." I said, "No, ma'am, that's a pin." "This is a weapon." No, that's a pin. I write with it. You see, you just take the cap off and you write with it. "This is a weapon, and I have to confiscate it, or you can mail it to yourself or something." And I'm like, just whatever. I know you just want my pen. So it's like, whatever. And I have like zero respect for TSA, honestly, like none. I'm surprised that anybody does. But TSA should not exist. We didn't have any problems before the TSA, really, until September 11. And September 11 was so weird. And I'm actually surprised nobody else had any firearms on board to shoot those guys in the back of the head. The scary thing, Dennison, that there's almost no sky marshals anymore, air marshals. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah, apparently they just haven't been hiring new ones, and so everybody's retiring out, and they just don't have any hardly. So what they do is that if you're a federal police officer or maybe even a regular police officer, I think only feds can do it. If you're a federal law enforcement officer, you get to carry your gun on the plane. When you do that, they will tell you that you have to act as an air marshal while you're on the flight. So they're not even trained to be air marshals. Hey, Lawrence, how are you?
That'd be something I would support.
What's that?
That would be something I would support, is having trained air marshals out of the team.
Yes, I would prefer a trained air marshal rather than the FBI guy that just happened to need to fly from one place to the other carrying his gun.
Especially if he did his job and he didn't harass fucking passengers, didn't talk to him, didn't interrogate him, minded his own business, and shit goes down. Or he sees some real shit,
Yeah. See some shit going down. Yeah.
Not
I'm
like
just,
traffic stop.
yeah. I support properly trained air marshals, but there just are not enough. There's no budget for any more. They were not effective, and they were not. I mean, basically, you could probably go through the last 12 years of air travel and not find a single incident where an air marshal was effective. Right. And so, now I tell you honestly, Dennison, being the capitalist pig that I am, I think that since the airlines are operating as a for-profit business, security is on them, and they need to have armed security on the airplanes, and they need to pay for it. And, I think that every airline pilot, as part of their training, just needs to get some anti-terrorism, training, and, keep those Glock 17s up in the cockpit like they used to. Most airlines, which we used to think of as being really safe because they had that Glock in the cockpit. Yeah, they don't do that anymore, Dennison. They just slowly, quietly stopped doing it. Because it was go ahead.
And their stewardesses, staff, and everybody should be trained badass.
Yeah.
They don't have to be the best of the best, but they should get some Krav Maga at least, hand combat training, some crisis situation training, medical training,
I mean, I don't know that I agree that all of the stewardesses should be trained to, in like anti-terrorism, anti-hijacking stuff, but certainly some that want to be ought be, right? Maybe you get a little nice pay bump because they took the extra training, right? But I think that if you're going to fly a plane with people on it, then you ought to be able to, go to the range every once in a while and qualify with a weapon that you keep in the front of the plane, so that if you are going to get hijacked, you can at least, take one of them with you, man. Right? Like, kind of being a little cheek there, but I mean, but why? Okay, so but the real thing is, Dennison, we're paying the salaries of thousands upon thousands of employees that are terrible at their job, that do nothing but harass people, that if they even do anything, if they do anything at all, they serve to harass people. At best, they're an impediment. At worst, they literally ruin the entire experience of flying for people for no damn good reason. And at taxpayer expense. I need to add, at taxpayer expense. So if you, Dennison, owned an airline, well, you don't care about TSA because you're not paying that bill, right? But I bet if you did pay that bill, all of a sudden you'd be very concerned, right? Which is why I think airlines ought to be responsible for their own security.
I don't know.
TSA is DEI headquarters. That is right, Tootie Bug. That is for sure. If you can't get a job doing anything else, go apply to the TSA. They'll hire you.
Excuse me, sir. I'm going to need to check inside your asshole.
No, it's going to be like, I'm sorry, this line is full. This line is full. Next line, sir. It's the next line. Sir? Shoes off, laptops out. Shoes off, laptops out. Belts off. You got a belt, take your belt off. I mean, seriously, this is nuts. This is crazy. Why do we even do that? Like, it's problematic at best. And like cattle, U.S. citizens just allow themselves to be herded through the airport by these jackasses, these ineffective people that don't stop anything. That if somebody really wants to get a gun by them, they get it by them like 80% of the time. 80% of the time that they're tested at finding weapons going through TSA, they fail. That's abysmal. I think anyone would get fired with that record, right? But not TSA. No, keep going. So I don't know. I feel like I said, I feel like the airlines ought to pay for their own security. And if you choose to fly on an airline that doesn't have security, then you get what you get. Right? So when I'm shopping for airlines, I can look at, Southwest, they have armed security. Hell yeah. Oh, look at this. DEI Delta doesn't. Yeah, I'm not flying those guys. That's for sure. That's how I would look at it. But anyway, that's a weird rant, I guess. But Spirit Airlines is gone now, my man, for now, for this week. Next week could be different. I think Denison. I
Charter
think
One.
Sorry?
Good old Charter One.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe Warren. Why did Warren block this $500 million loan when we gave literally anybody that asked for it $500 million just a few years ago? I can't tell if that's a lag or if Denison's just like distracted. Anson, I did see that the Daily Wire is doing layoffs for the first time ever. That's crazy. That's just crazy. I think it's because they put too much money into their making of movies. That's my personal opinion. They've spent a shit ton of money making movies, which I think some of them made them money, but I don't know. I don't think that's where they got the biggest part of their money from. Denison, you okay over there?
Yeah, why?
You weren't answering or interacting. I assume that you were like you went back to bed or something, went back to sleep.
Apparently, she just opposed it because it was Trump's idea. She didn't block it.
Really?
It's actually the creditors.
Really?
It was Spirit's own creditors that blocked it.
Oh, Spirit. Wait, Spirit's own creditors blocked it.
Yeah, it was Trump's idea.
Oh,
Because basically to have a way for the United States to own its own airline.
oh. Well, shit happens. AI is doing the arts for them. That's probably true. Well, it's 2:00. I'm going to get out of here. I've got to go do a bunch of stuff this afternoon, including taking my son his shotgun so that he can practice after school with his team. It's been a good show today. Been a lot of ranting, a lot of raving, a lot of lunacy in the news. I'm not going to do the debate tonight against what is the topic again? Hang on, I had that up a minute ago. Let me see. This is I've been invited to debate on the Reverie tonight. The topic being the U.S. Department of War under Pete Hegseth seems to be in the midst of a purge. A whole list of senior military officials have been fired. Absolutely, they have. Hegseth, having previously been a Fox News host and a National Guard infantry major, has surrounded himself with friends and relatives. Do you feel safe with Hegseth at the head of the military? Sure, why not? Is it the right person to lead the armed forces in a time of open conflict? Yeah, anybody who's firing DEI guys needs to, it gets a vote for me. Would you trust him to refuse an illegal order from the president? Yeah, I think so. Or should he resist any order given to him instead of simply obey? I mean, he's a military guy, so that's their quote. And this seems like This just seems like another prompt where it's not gonna be what's the word I'm looking for here? Productive to discuss it. It's just not productive. So anyway, how's your May the 4th be with you, Dennison?
You know, I woke up, so that's a good start.
That's always a good start, right? That's always a good start. Hello, Brain Bender. How are you? You're getting here right as I'm getting ready to go because it is. I normally leave at 3, but I have to cut out a little early today. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that debate tonight. I'll send him a message and say sorry. I got to bow out of this one because I'm not going to say it because it's stupid, but I think I just don't know that there's much I can work with on that prompt. Oh, no worries. No worries, Brain Bender, BBB, Triple B. No worries at all.
Today doesn't feel like a get her done kind of day. I don't think.
Yeah, well, I've got a lot to get done. I bought a plane on Friday. I sent the guy the deposit. They're flying it down Saturday. So now between now and then, I need to get insurance on it, which is actually what I was doing before I came on the shows. I sent off for a couple of quotes. Need to get insurance on the plane after it's delivered on Saturday, and I need to line up an instructor to check me out on it, which that's pretty easy. And I got like 4 or 5 different things I need to take care of just with that. And then I've got all the other normal stuff that I've got to take care of as well. And Cleaner's right. Some prompts just aren't really worth debating. They just aren't. Like, this is dumb. Like, that's a dumb comment. Right. Somebody wants to cry about the Trump administration people. That's all of it. Always.
Just more.
So I could recommend you, Dennison, if you'd like to partake in the debate. I'll throw your name in the hat.
No, I don't like debating anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I outgrew it. Rather,
I got you.
Have discussions, especially with the type of people who debate on YouTube. They're cripplingly obtuse.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Well,
don't have much insight. They don't have any creative thoughts or solutions. It's just horribly overused and debunked talking points. And like just like a stone wall type of attitude.
Yeah.
Or varying perspectives.
Yeah, I get that. So for me, I'm probably the only one, but for me, I like a good debate. I even like a good debate that can devolve into the dramatical. But I'm getting tired of some of the the pedestrian garbage debates that people they just keep going over the same points, but in such a way that you can tell that they don't actually understand the points, right? And this is something I was going to save this for another show, and I'll go deeper into this on another show because this is something that's really burning it just burns me up, man. Is that at this point for the past 2 years, we've had a lot of debate in the YouTube space in a very specific way, so that they're very specific talking points. And what we've created is a bunch of morons that are simply repeating canned arguments that they themselves do not understand. They didn't do the work. They're just regurgitating the information. And so when they're challenged, their default is simply to go batshit and start attacking people and just being completely bad faith. And I don't like that. I just don't. And I really hate it when people don't actually understand how to debate. And I can, I personally have always thought that if you can't argue both sides, then you suck at understanding what you're debating, and you actually suck at debating, because truly debate is not about knowing everything there is to know about your subject, but it's about the logical progression, right? And I can actually, I in general do not like to do it, but I can take either side on most subjects that I would debate. I just think it's really sad that other people out there are being hailed as great debaters, and they're absolutely pathetic in my worldview. And it's just becoming worse and worse and worse. And even worse than that is and that's on the right side. That's on the conservative side. On the left, I see so many of these jackasses come up and they pop up, and they have the answer to the religion debate, right? They're going to come in and they're going to destroy everyone with their the whatever tactic they came up with when they were smoking what is that? Whatever. I don't know, 'cause I don't smoke stuff. No, better. The peyote. When they're out there smoking peyote in the fucking woods with the Indians, they've got a whole new perception, and that now they have the answer to how to defeat the Christian argument, right? They've got it down until you talk to them, and then you're like, what the fuck? Like that guy Seeker or Seekin or so, whatever fuck his name was. Like the worst debates ever. Like the worst points ever. It was like my 5-year-old isn't this stupid, right? Like just not smart. But trying to couch it in like really, really flowery language, right? Where people are really trying to understand like even what the fuck you're saying, because you're saying it in such a weird way. And it's just annoying to me at this point. Like I just don't even want to debate most people. It's a waste of my time. I love a good debate. I will sit and debate Glenn Lawrence for hours on various things. And I can debate, I really truly love a good debate, but people are so fucking bad at it. And it's just not worth my time to get involved with it. That's just my personal viewpoint. Nobody has to agree with it. Nobody has to like it. You don't have to care. This my viewpoint. But I'm going to tell you something, that if you are listening to a debater who says they've never taken an L, they're not a debater. They're bullshit. Just plain and simple. I rarely take an L because I like to be able to put my logic together and put it out there. And then, we can come to a stalemate usually, because I'm not going to change their thinking. They're not going to change my thinking. But I took an L against Econoboy because I prepped entirely for a social program debate, and he went full fucking commie on me. Like he was literally went full commie. And I was expecting him to talk about Social Security and public works, like police and that being the good of society, good of socialism and society. That's what I prepped for. And he went full fucking commie. He was like, no, he thinks that the state ought to own the means of production. Like, I was like, I wasn't ready for that. And I fucking took a huge L on that in that debate because I just didn't prep properly. And I got caught so far out of where my head was at that I took an L. And I'll admit it. But if you can't admit that you took an L and understand, describe why you took the L, not a debater. You just aren't. At best, you cope. That's what you are. You're full of cope. At best. At worst, you're lying to yourself and everyone around you and just full of shit. So, yeah.
That poor bastard.
Who's that?
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny? Oh, God almighty. Bro.
That chick ran
Destiny.
through him, huh?
Which one?
When he married.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, how did you not see that coming?
Right?
Oh, Geoverse.
Happens when you buy
Geoverse
into
is
that
pretty bad
feminist
too.
bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's okay for someone to say that they think that there's a place for feminism, right? It's okay to say that. I don't believe it, but it's okay to
Place
say
to take
if
a
that's
shit.
what you believe, that's fine. You can say whatever you want, right? But if you can't
There's a
give me
place to
like,
take a dump.
yeah, right. But if you can't give me a factual reason why, right? And I do this with the red pill guys too, right? Like I'm not a red pillar. I'm fairly anti-red pill. And one of the things is that I'm one of the things I disagree with most of them on is because this idea that red pill can't exist without feminism, right? That's my position. Without women being feminist and willing to spread their legs and care only about money and status and all of this, without women being feminist, red pill can't exist, right? Because how are you going to convince moral women to just spread their legs and let you bang them? How does that work?
Buy him a house.
Yeah.
Some babies. Cook bacon for him every Sunday morning. These are my tactics, but
That's your tactic. I mean, hey man, if it works for you,
I haven't found a moral one yet, though. That's the problem.
People? How do you piss off 500? How do you get pissed off at 500 people? All right, yeah. Cleaner rarely says someone is horrible, but yeah. I think I can't. And I'll say this again for like the fifth time. I can't tell if Geoverse is a troll, if he actually believes what he's saying, if he is just really messed up in the head. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I do know that I find his rantings illogical and very erratic with no consistency at all. That's how I find it. Now, somebody else could say, no, that's the most logical shit I've ever heard. I'd be like, okay, I mean, takes all types. But I just, that's just me. So, yeah. And, look, low tier is when I say I'm unlike Cleaner. I don't really do tier debate or like high tier, low tier, mid tier, whatever. I think of people that either can debate or cannot debate, right? You either can use logic or you cannot use logic. You understand the fallacies and when and how to use them and when and how to call them when they're being used, or you don't. You're either unemotional and care only about the argument and only about the rhetoric and only about the logic involved, or you are emotional and so you care about everything except the three things you ought to be caring about. It's either or for me. I don't know, and there's some things that people get very emotional about and they cannot debate. I'm sure that's your experience, Dennison, is that when you do try and debate someone, they get all emotional and start crying and whining and bitching, and then it's no fun anymore, right? Maybe not.
I'm not trying
You
to
have the
debate
link.
them.
You know what, OG? I'll give you the link. I'm trying to get out of here. I've got to go do some stuff, but I'll throw you the link. Give me a second. I had you. Where the fuck are you?
I rarely ever try to
Try to what?
debate someone.
Yeah, I do. I like to have debates. I like absolutely. I enjoy debates. I enjoy helping people be better debaters. I enjoy, trying to understand why somebody sucks at debate. I like all those things. What's up, OG? How are you?
Is my audio coming good?
Yeah, you sound great. You look wonderful, and you sound so good.
I have a face for radio.
You do. You do. Man ain't never lied.
But I find that people just can't debate or discuss things today, especially without being emotional, right? Because you have people that want to attack the person instead of the argument afterwards. That's another
About
reason
people.
we can't. That's the reason we can't debate or talk about, taboo things.
Well, kinda. Give me a second. Wilson's Light, now bottled at 5.5% ABV. Argumentation by volume. That's right. There's a lot of people out there who simply copy everything Andrew does. Right? But they don't understand the arguments. This is a problem. And this,
He
and
didn't
I'm
pioneer that shit.
Sorry?
He didn't pioneer that shit.
Yeah, he didn't pioneer it, but he understands it, and so when he says it, it makes sense, and he wins arguments that way, and he can hold his own. When other people, speak easy, try to use the same exact argument, they don't understand the argument. They don't understand the root of the argument. They don't understand the how, the why, the when, the where. They don't understand the logic. They can't follow it because they didn't make the argument. They didn't think of it. They didn't come to that conclusion on their own. They didn't read it in a book and understand why the author made that argument. So what you have is you have somebody who's acting. They're acting. They don't actually understand the argument.
I thought you were going to say retarded.
No, retarded would be an improvement. Because retarded people, at least they don't have any idea what they know or don't know, right? Like that's at least authentic. It's fucking fake as shit, right? To try and make an argument that somebody else has made, right? All right. So if Dennison says I don't believe in God, and I say, well, what okay, fine. Here's this, and we end up with some sort of religious gotcha that I've got him in. But I don't actually understand it. But he understands his argument because he lives it, right? He actually believes that. Then
We should have a
hard
debate.
time-
Is debate good? That should end it.
Sorry?
We should have a debate over whether or not debating is.
Well, I actually did have a debate planned once. Or I had two people planning to do the debate on my channel. Does debate move the needle socially? Right. Never got done, but yeah, I think that there's a huge number of people that copy and paste arguments that they don't actually understand, and they probably don't even believe.
Well, it's simple, right? Andrew has,
and I'm
Andrew
picking on
has-
Andrew here. The same thing goes with Destiny's crowd too. Like I have tons of people that I've debated that use Destiny's nonsense, and absolutely, I can literally hear it and I recognize it. Right? They don't even change the wording.
Well,
sorry.
that's the thing. That's the thing. Andrew, Destiny, whoever you want to pick on, and I'll pick on Andrew for this because I deal with his pick-me's and
Sure.
people who want his attention. So I'll use him as an example. When you have his pick-me's and the people who want his attention or they want to grift off of what he's built as his brand or his debate style, that's what you get. You get a bunch of people copy and pasting his arguments, trying to mimic his micro expressions. Like, it's an entire copy and paste. It's not just copying the arguments.
Yeah.
So, and there's only one original, right? So only one person is going to be able to be good at that at a time, or exactly what they're trying to copy. You're not going to be able to copy Wilson's brand or Destiny's brand and be good at it.
It'll be
to some degree.
If you copy.
What's up, Brandon? How are you? To some degree, that's true.
You
but
might not be
if
the
you
original.
truly understand the argument, right? If you truly understand it, like if Denison uses Plato's argument for eternal truth, and he understands it because he read it, he thought about it, he made some notes, he went back over it, he's talked to a half a dozen people back and forth, discussed it, workshopped it around, and kind of really understands that subject and makes that argument. You can't refute that argument because he knows it. He's made that argument his. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
hey, what's up,
that's
crack,
actual.
baby? Glad you could catch it live.
That's actual knowledge, right? That's actual knowledge. It's not trying to repeat the brand. I think Denison was going to touch
memorization.
on it. You may not be the original, but you're able to make it your own when you're intelligent or you haven't. I think that's what Den was going to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, I think, that is just super. Again, this is super annoying to me. This is something that I don't like. This is something that that I get tired of even hearing about. And people aren't debating philosophy. They're not debating policy. They're debating catchphrases. Do you understand? That's what they're really doing. Like if you and I get into a debate about drug use, and I'm obviously going to be against, and you're probably going to be for, we can have a philosophical argument about that because neither one of us are really going to be default back to preloaded arguments, preloaded points, right? It'll actually be an authentic discussion and argument with as much logic as we can bring to it, because we both have an actual position on that, and we're not just trying to catchphrase each other to death, right? And we can have a philosophical argument about it. Hey, this is what I think that does this to society. It does this to men. It does this to women. And you would say, no, it's great. It does this and this and this and this. And I go, okay, well, yeah, but it establishes blah, 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 blah. And we could have that. And it would be a true philosophical argument.
Well, see, here on that specific subject, right? Because I can argue both, because I'm both for and against at the same time.
Sure.
I want a world where drugs are completely illegal and we end drug dealers, right? But we just ain't going to get that. So since that's not the case, legalization or decriminalization is the only way. So we could get into a nuance. We can do a nuanced topic.
Douglas is going to help you out there. He's got you, bro. He's got you.
Cracking every home and a cap in every ass, baby. Let's go. Make organized crime great again.
Oh, that's perfect.
Where do you draw the line?
But there's no shame in the game of using somebody else's argument or taking points. Like, for example, there's a particularly awesome debater in the Crucible. He is amazing, but he himself does not like to be in front of the camera. He doesn't want. He's just not very. He just doesn't like it. You know, he's a shy guy. But he's an amazing debater. He has tons of information at his fingertips and all that. So if you want to debate prep, when I want to debate prep, if he's available, I want to go and hang out with him and run my arguments by him so he can poke holes in them and give me some suggestions how to make that argument tighter and better. And there's nothing wrong with that because we're both working together on it. But just to sit there and just have canned arguments, you know, well, I can't think of one right off the top of my head. Because I don't use canned arguments. But anyway, that's why I don't like it. I prefer genuine, authentic, real arguments than a bunch of canned nonsense. which is why the way I did my debate show was so different. I know you never really got to experience that, Orthodox, but that's why it was so different, is because we did have new topics. You weren't really able to prepare for it. You had to make up, you had to have basically a philosophical argument, because you couldn't prepare a bunch of stats and facts fast enough, usually. And so I think that's one of the things that made my debate show really good. And I think that's why so many people want me to bring it back. I literally not a week goes by without new people, or not new, but different people saying, hey, I'd really like you to have your show back. You should do it again. And I don't really have the time.
If you find the time, I think you should. It was.
I'm trying to recruit some help to help me do it.
Well, I stopped smoking the Mary J, so I could help you with that if you want. I get retarded on the Mary J. Like Hank, my debate with Hank, I started smoking, and like Hank verbally fucking twisted my legs. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. All right, you win.
It's funny because Tyler, average debate enjoyer, Tyler, when he is not smoking pot, is ridiculously sharp. But when he's smoking pot, he's so easy to beat. It's not even a real challenge. And he's a good debater, but it's just not hard to beat him when he's smoking pot.
I didn't know Hank actually wanted to debate, because he wanted to debate to show me some tips on debating. Like, I didn't know he actually wanted to debate.
And then there's who else kind of goes back and forth. It doesn't matter. Gibbs is always pretty good, but there's I don't know, man. Fabian Liberty found out that he had like some kind of food allergies or something, and when he started eating to where he wasn't having all of the massive highs and lows, man, it was crazy. The only thing you didn't like about it was the on-cam requirement. You miss out on a lot of people worth hearing. I get that. And that's something I'm also trying to reconcile, is that I don't want 6 avatars up here arguing with each other. I want people interacting. So I don't know how to deal with that. Right. We'll figure it out.
If I may make a suggestion.
Sure.
If somebody like me doesn't want to cam up, instead of wasting space on the panel, make them be in chat until it's time to debate, and only people that can cam up can stay for the conversation aspect.
Yeah, it could be. That could be something. I think there's a way to do it. I'm going to have to put some thought into it over the next few days, because like I said, I'm right now, to be honest with you guys, right now, my entire half of my brain is devoted to making sure that this transition of this airplane purchase goes smoothly. I'm dealing with the FAA. They like to jack around with people like me. So, I'm just trying to make sure everything gets, T's dotted, I's crossed, all that kind of shit. And so
first time you bought a jet?
No, I did not buy a jet. I was looking for a jet. So this is the funniest thing. So I was trying to buy a business and I still may. I was trying to buy a business last week, a jet charter service, right? But the plane that was available, I had to buy. I couldn't lease it. I wanted to lease it, but they wouldn't let me lease it. They wanted to sell it to me. It was like $4.5 million. It's not a bad price on it, but it's not a great price. And I'm not stealing it. And I'm not really I don't feel like I win if I buy that jet. So I'm like, all right, this sucks. I don't want to do that. So, and I really want to lease. And I don't want to buy. And so I looked a week and a half, and I could not find a single suitable jet for lease.
That's why that one cost 4.6.
Right. Yeah. They were like, hey, we know it's a limited market at this moment. If you want to be,
it's a seller's market, clearly.
Business, if you want to be in the business, you're going to have to do business, And so I was like, fuck, this sucks. And I have time. I'm in no hurry. But while I was looking for that plane, this other plane popped up, and I'm like, hey, I like that. I'm going to buy that. And so I sent the guy a deposit last week, and there you go.
It's good to know you're making work good on your word and buying Kev that plane.
I actually had Kev's plane. Where's Kev's plane? Yeah, here we go. Right here. Tell him he can come get it anytime.
Damn, it's a little Cessna too. That's funny. He was talking about just a little Cessna. Let me get that.
Tell him I might even upgrade him if he shows up in person. I might even upgrade him. So, but yeah. So I'm so that I ended up buying a trainer for me to finish out some of my training in, and then my son to use for his training, and we can take trips in it to some degree, and it's a plane's useful thing to have. So. And it gets delivered Saturday, so I've got to have all the insurance and everything. I've got to have all the paperwork done. And
so this is a plane, not an experimental.
Yeah, hang on. No, this is a plane. I mean, I like the experimentals are planes, but this is one that I'm not working on. What did I do? I got a video.
Well, it's the classification difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
how much is Talk Studio a month?
It's like $11. It's like super cheap compared to the others. I don't even.
That's unlimited.
Yeah,
that's one guest.
No, it's unlimited. I mean, I don't have unlimited guests. I think I can put 20 people up here or something. I don't know. I've never maxed it out.
Everything is seeming like a better alternative to StreamYard right now.
Dude, StreamYard was the best until last year.
They started charging.
It went from $80 a year to $380 a year for like the
and
ultimate.
Got worse.
Yeah, and it's worse. It like crashes all the time. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This sucks.
It's common with software, unfortunately, because even when there's like a low subscription fee, when it gets popular, then the quality can often go down, and while the price goes up, and getting bought out is one of those reasons.
Yeah, I think it did get sold. I don't know that for a fact, but I seem to recall that.
Well, they did. They changed some of the administrative communication contacts and info like that, so it would make sense.
Yeah. So there's the plane.
Oh, it's that one, the one you were showing on the stream the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
I bought it. Yeah.
Was it like $350?
What? The
Plane like that? Yeah.
I paid $35,000 for it.
What kind is it?
It's a Aero Commander, which became Rockwell, or Rockwell bought them, which is
the Darter.
Rockwell did the what is that crazy thing that they do? The B-1 bomber. So it's the same people built it, but they don't do
Darter, right?
Yeah, it's a Darter. Yeah. Yeah.
Am I just retarded? I thought they were way more expensive than that.
It ought to be. Which is why I literally spent like 10 minutes on the decision to buy it.
It's a steal.
I was like, it's literally like half price. And I went over everything. Like, he sent me all the paperwork. It's in annual. It just had an annual. It just literally just came out of annual like a week and a half ago. Clean bill of health. It's got like 600 hours on a top end rebuild, which, not great, but not bad. 2,700 hours total time on the plane. 500 hours on the brand new prop. So, it's like super cheap. A Cessna 172 in the same condition would be $110,000. So,
Is that a jet craft?
Cessna 172 is just a trainer, just like this one. Those are propeller planes. These are prop planes, trainers. Can beat them up a little bit. So, but I like Talk Studio because it works with StreamYard OBS, which is a very simplified OBS that any idiot can use. But you can actually I'll get to that, Donna. I just like the Streamlabs because it just works better. And I get to use their OBS. I don't really have to like think too much about it or anything like that. So, but yeah. So that being a house husband must really be working out for me. Yeah, I told my wife that the other day, and she thought that was very funny. Did I get my wife's permission? I mean, I told her I was buying it, so kinda, not really. So yeah.
Next time.
You did hear that Speakeasy referred to me as a house husband, right?
Yes. It was in the Goofy the Day segment he did, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which I thought was hilarious. Like he's
Next
an
time
idiot.
he makes a Goofy of the Day, you should just go up on his debate platform with your plane as your profile picture. Like, I'm sorry. Excuse me, I couldn't hear you over owning a fucking airplane. Like,
well, this makes number
broke.
Yeah, this makes number 5. I think. So I have the Long Easy, which actually I have 2 Long Easies, but I'm only finishing one. And I just got the new motor for it and everything. I'm just in the middle of making it pretty. And I did the long nose conversion, and I'm just about to paint it. I've got the Sonoray, which I recovered, brand new motor for it. It's getting repainted like in the next week or 2. So that's 3, right? So far. Yeah. And then I've got the Taylor Craft, which is a 1946 BC-12D, which is getting recovered this coming year, and it's just so sweet, so nice, such a cool little airplane. So that's 4, and then I have the Dragonfly, which is on the other side of this wall. That's 5. Wait, I got one more, and I've got the Very Easy, which the motor for it is getting rebuilt as we speak. And actually, somebody's supposed to bring me parts for it this week, Saturday, I think. And so that's 6. So 6 airplanes. In addition, I have another Long Easy complete airplane that I'm not going to finish. I'll probably sell it. And I have a almost complete Sonoray fuselage. Well, I have a complete like fuselage and everything ready to go for another Sonoray. I could build a second Sonoray, which I guess makes 7. If I were going to finish them, but I'm not going to. So,
what is the manufacturer on that Dragonfly?
Viking Dragonfly.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a hand built. The Long Easy, the Sonoray, and the Viking are all hand built. Yeah, they're all hand built. Yeah, they're all hand built.
That sounds like fun as hell.
It is a lot of fun. It's really cool. Yeah, two of my airplanes have Easy in the name of them.
Like Legos for real, man.
Because I own Easies. So there you go. What is the panel's thought on the GOP dealing with the log cabin Republicans?
Who cares? Political atheist here. I don't really care about any of the shit that they do, and that seems like even less significant shit than most of the shit.
Yeah, I have to.
I'm ambivalent right now. That may change, but right now I'm ambivalent.
Yeah, I don't really care. Gay Republicans are too small of a faction or too small to have
Mhm.
any like actual lasting or policy
Mhm.
changes unless the Republicans are trying to pander to the gay community.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of irrelevant.
I mean, if anything, I would say that's like a signal of return to the old schools of conservatism, which ironically comes out of the log cabin, at least surfacially. You gotta love it that, the gay men are the ones that are uh, publicly touting what they refer to as conservative values.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how. So I had this problem in California where you have the Pink Pistols and you have some other conservative ish group or groups that want to be considered conservative but really are only conservative in a few things. I don't actually have a problem saying, hey, yeah, they're conservative, but I would have a large I'd have more of a problem saying that they are like Republican or that they cling to the ideals. So
How I just don't understand how metropolitan or cosmopolitan homosexuals are conservative. Because, and comrade, I'm going to get a bit communist on you, because all of the
mhm.
dialectic of the cosmopolitan issues come from the 1870s to 1940s, when you're dealing with the Soviet or the Russian or the communist uh, manifestos, these sort of things, where there's a lot of class talk, right? And one of the things about homosexuality is it's a bourgeois thing. This is why I don't understand why the gays and trannies and all this are in league with the communists, because communist thinking on homosexuality is you have to be of a certain class, bourgeois class, to even be homosexual, to be able to choose your gender, to be able to go against nature. So I don't understand in America how the gays find themselves in the political sphere they're in. Politics truly makes strange bedfellows, because on the left they shouldn't be communists or like left wing, because like I said, the bourgeois connection. And then conservatism is all about conserving Christian values, conserving religious values in politics. And they go against the narrative, is the historical narrative as well. So I don't get, I get how you can be gay and believe in God, but I don't get how you can be gay and be conservative.
They have
And
reactionary identity. They don't actually have any, like, their creativity is low, and so their individual. So right now, if you're a reactionary identity, then hating traditional values and gender bending are both against the current establishment.
Yeah, I mean, I've always found it interesting as, I guess, maybe more than maybe odd. Odd, I think, is a word that the way the gays tend to um, kind of look at this sort of thing, right?
As for log cabin Republicans, that's just social conservatism versus economic conservatism, and then there's um, gay has become socially acceptable. So now it's not even as much of a violation of social conservatism if you're talking about a gay individual technically supports marriage, um, low taxes, um, is supportive of business, um, is pro states' rights, small government, more favorite, you know, um, capitalistic idealism. Um, and a lot of gay people are entrepreneurs too. So you're talking about
Well, yeah.
checking every single one of the boxes of a conservative, except they do.
Yeah, no, I mean you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's the thing. This is where someone like me, who is like super traditionalist, right? Where I go, what the? Because I don't like conservatives because I don't see them as actually conserving anything, and this gives me the biggest win. You look back 20 years ago, being gay is not conservative. They're on the the log cabins were on the outskirts of conservatism, but now they are considered right. Like you said, right? They check all the boxes for conservatives. So what the fuck are conservatives conserving? Their bank accounts? Okay,
I think
it's good for them.
Well, hold on. I think that's a misnomer when it comes to conservatism, and I'm going to have to make this quick because I got to get out of here. Like I said, I got to go do stuff with my kid and do a bunch of other stuff. But house husband duties never last, ladies and gentlemen. They're never over. So conservatism is not. We're not trying to conserve something. We are conservative, meaning that we are in our actions. You know, we try and be more traditional. We try and be more thoughtful, more conservative, right? Like just not big and flashy, which I think is odd, considering that a lot of gays tend to be very flamboyant, right? And the opposite of conservative. But I don't know that I'm trying to conserve anything, right? Like I'm not trying to except maybe the Constitution. You know, you can say, well, we're trying to conserve culture, but well, that's dumb because we're not all, you know, rolling around with flintlock rifles and you know, deerskin chaps, you know, with homespun pants. We're not conserving that, right?
Well, that would be a matter of production, not culture. The fact that we'd be rocking AR-15s, wearing Levi blue jeans and T-shirts and Georgia boots, that would be a conservative, modern conservative. And I think most conservatives.
Sure. And I can agree with that. But it just like I can agree that, you know, you can be cutting edge in your with technology, but still be conservative in values.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with that too. And I think that part of being a conservative would be conserving the culture, the Constitution, these sort of things. And from what I see from most conservatives, it's not about conserving any of that. It's about conserving business and not even conserving business. It's about serving corporate interests.
It's because,
I mean, for me, I'm only interested in conserving business because I don't want anybody messing with my business, right? And I also believe that people ought have the ability to excel in any way that they can, right? So if you can, OG man, if you wanted tomorrow to go out and open, you know, a trading account and start trading a little bit of money, and then somehow you made a bunch of the really right choices, and you came out of that worth $10 million, and then you took that and you sunk it into a hedge fund somewhere, I think that's awesome, dude. I wouldn't say a bad word about that at all. And I think that and I think this is where it breaks down, because most people in the back of their, well, not most, a lot of people in the back of their brain are actually doing that, right? Like the very same people who sit there and count on their 401k for their retirement will bash hedge funds and money market. Well, we don't really do money market accounts anymore, but we'll bash all of these investment vehicles and the changes that are being made while their 401k is benefiting from those very changes, right? Like it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Is like literally like, I don't like it because somebody told me it was bad. Okay, if you checked your 401k, right? Are you, you know, or have you looked at anything else besides, you know, the nose on your face? Because that matters, right? And I don't know. I mean, and I'm just kind of spitballing here a little bit, and I'm a little bit rushed because again, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
I'll say this for you to think about, all right, if you don't mind.
I'm always thinking.
I am not against the stock market as much as it seems, even though you'll hear me carry on about money speculations. There are certain regulations or the lack thereof or the deregulation of that I have issues with, like stock buybacks. I think stock buybacks are the devil, and they should absolutely be outlawed, and we should prosecute every CEO of every corporation that has done them since they were made legal. I believe it was back in the 80s. Because they used to be illegal. It artificially raises the price of stocks without the company producing more value or anything. And that is one of the biggest problems with the U.S. stock market at this point in time. And it does.
Certainly there
How
are
I make
things.
most of my money.
Yeah. I mean, certainly there are things that we can say, well, we ought not be able to do that. But even if you say, or you can even say, hey, certain people ought not be able to do this. Right, because they don't know what they're doing, right, and I would agree with that. However, I mean, as somebody who actually does, I own my wife, one of her classmates, and we own a real estate investment fund. It's valued right now at about, I don't know, $5 or $10 million. I mean, it changes, but, and we're about to launch another one, right? That'll be a $10 million fund. I am the corporate evil person that people want to talk about, but I'm just a conservative dude that wants to make money and wants to try and understand markets. And I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is and bet on myself and my
the only people that are talking about you when they talk about evil corporations are fucking retarded communists and leftists. Like nobody's talking about.
I am the nameless, faceless corporation in theory, right? Because it's just. I mean, even the name of our fund is literally like so bland, like you would forget it instantly if I told it to you.
I mean,
and
most people's issues come with like multinational corporations that put the interests of profit over the nation as a whole. Nobody's really talking about individual people incorporating and running a business or their own hedge fund. People are mainly talking about there's different levels to different things. Now, I know that there are communists and leftists out there who just hate rich people, and I have to ask them. I know that it's safe and socially acceptable to hate the rich, but have you tried hating the poor for being lazy?
I love hating the poor for being lazy. I literally do. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I have a real chip on my shoulder when it comes to poor people. I'm sorry.
Most poor people are poor due to bad decisions.
Yeah. When I was poor, it was because initially because of circumstance, sometimes because of bad decisions, sometimes just because it's just the way the cookie crumbled. Literally, that's just the way it happened.
As a poor man, my hatred for the poor comes from because a lot of people go, "Oh, OG, aren't you poor?" Yes, I'm poor as shit, but I'm not on welfare. I don't expect, and nobody owes me anything. I'm humble and thankful for every dime I make or I'm given to help. And I've seen the majority of poor people live above their means, don't save money, don't understand how money works, bitches and complains because they don't have money. Like I get circumstance. I'm the king of poor circumstance right now. I get it. But
I'm glad.
Most of y'all are
the honesty is good. That's good honesty. I am going to have to cut you off though, because I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm way over time. I should have left 15 minutes ago, but we were cooking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get out of here. Normally it'd be a longer process, but I'm going to get the fuck out of here. So as always, be cool. Wear the glasses if you need them, and I'll see you guys Wednesday, unless I somehow magically stream tonight. Guys, thanks for coming up. We'll see you later.